Welcome back. Joining us now from Quinte Canine is Yvonne Ferguson. Yvonne, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So I've got 2 dogs at home I've had for a number of years, but over the course of the pandemic, we've seen a lot of people welcoming new furry friends into their homes. What's it been like as someone that has Quinte Canine and training all sorts of different puppies and dogs?
It's mayhem, but the kind of mayhem that we love. Puppy mayhem is always good mayhem. So it's been very, very busy. We've seen a dramatic increase in the number of people who have young dogs and puppies in the home during the pandemic. So
A lot of first-time owners or owners that are trying to maybe, add something, especially during the pandemic. What's the situation like?
I would say it's both. I am seeing a lot of first-time owners. Clean slate type people, but people who need definitely some guidance along the way. And then people who might have maybe an older dog or they've had dogs in the past and currently don't. So we are seeing about 50% of each.
Now, whereabouts is your facility located in Quinte?
So we are located on Highway number 2, right halfway exactly between Belleville and Trenton. It was perfect idea because we had classes in Belleville, we had classes in Trenton. And so if we moved to one or the other, we were making some people unhappy. So this was a perfect compromise. We are directly in between the two, right across from Quinte RV and Conan's Nurseries at the side of Kenneron Estates, right on Highway 2. So it works really, really well for both communities to be able to come together.
How have you been adapting during the pandemic? What has it been like teaching those young puppies and their owners over Zoom and Skype and all sorts of things?
Well, it was really interesting because during the first shutdown, we were in the process as well of renovating and getting the facility ready to open on June 15th. So that was very, very interesting. It was quite a bit of learning at first because when this first all happened, nobody expected how long or, what it was going to look like. And I now know, hurry up and wait is the theme when it comes to closures. So it was a little bit of an adjustment, but then between June and right up till Christmas, we were able to get back in person in a safe way with reduced numbers because we have 3,200 square feet here at the facility, and we're keeping our class sizes really small just to be on the safe side. So it's been wonderful. Classes were crazy busy. We were doing about 30 classes a week until the shutdown. And then we unfortunately had to switch back over to the virtual, but we've had such great feedback from our clients to say that, oh my God, I can't believe how well this is working. And, you always say that you teach it in house, then you go a little bit more distracted, a little bit more distracted, a little bit more distracted. You add your distractions slowly, but the learning occurs in those low distraction environments like the living room.
What advice would you give dog owners out there, especially those that are encountering and looking at some problems when they're with their new pets in home right now?
Don't feel alone. I get dozens of phone calls and emails every day with people struggling with various issues, anything from they chew my shoes to they're trying to eat the neighbor. It's don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like you're the only person who's experiencing this. I promise it's not the case. If you can start, the younger the better. The critical period for a puppy, that window of opportunity really closes between 12 and 16 weeks. So we have to make sure that we carefully, appropriately, and safely socialize them during this time to give them that first best start in life. If a dog is practicing a behavior for a few years, it's going to take a little bit longer to undo. But with pups, we can work on management and different techniques to help stave off problems before they ever start.
How are your classes organized in terms of especially those young puppy classes? Are they based on themes or how does it work?
So we start with puppies as young as even 8 weeks, as long as the dog is 7 days past their first set of vaccinations. We know because we use veterinary cleaners, the American Veterinary Society for Animal Behavior, we used to recommend get all those vaccines, but now we know that's not good for them. That window is closed by the time they get all their vaccinations. So if you're doing it safely and everybody's vaccinated, they come in and for the 1 hour each week for 6 weeks, we do lots of different themes. We could be doing sit down, stay, come, but we do a lot of games that help the dogs think up good ideas on their own. We also do a lot of what we call reflex training. I can ask my dog for 50 sits a day, or they can offer me 50 sits. I don't really want to micromanage my dog. So, move toward a human, reflex is bum on the ground because you can't be jumping if your butt's on the ground. So they come in and we usually divide the class into 2 smaller groups. Our class maximum size right now is 6. So 1 handler, 1 dog at this time, just because of the pandemic. And they'll also get a couple of little play sessions throughout the class where the pups get to play with other age, size, and temperament appropriate dogs and learn those appropriate dog-to-dog skills. We allow them to grow and develop this way, but we also interrupt or stave off problems that we might see ahead of time in a really positive way to help them learn.
Now, with older dogs out there, have you seen any issues specifically from the pandemic? Like perhaps people wearing masks all the time, dogs are now afraid to come up to people, or what have you seen anything like that?
I was shocked that no, they've taken very well to the masks, surprisingly, most dogs. Obviously there are going to be some that are a little bit, unsure of that. I was shocked they didn't do poorly with the mask, but what I have seen as a huge concern over the pandemic is the amount of separation-based issues that we're seeing with dogs, whether it's a young pup or just a dog that you've adopted into the home. They're used to the humans being around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when life starts going back to normal and we're returning to work or getting out of the house for doctor's appointments, things like that, the dog has never learned with coping to be by itself or accepting that as a natural, normal thing and feeling safe with that. So we're seeing a lot of separation issues, anything from separation frustration, separation distress, different things like this. So it's important that the owners are making sure that they work on these types of things, especially with a young dog, before they're actually a problem. I said, even if you're a stay-at-home parent or a retiree, get out of the house for a few hours each day and have them happily sleeping, maybe in their crate, somewhere safe for them, so that they practice that it's not the end of the world when that happens. Because even for someone who's retired or stay at home, there's going to be incidents where they have to leave the pup by themselves at home for the day or for half a day. So allowing the dog to become accustomed to this and get used to it is really important for them.
Really interesting note, Yvonne. I really appreciate bringing that up point because there's so many different things to consider, especially now with the pandemic and what we do going forward. How has this changed your approach to looking at your profession and looking at teaching, especially as you've gone from virtual to now back in person?
It's initially the switchover is a little bit difficult to kind of switch your headspace, and it is a little bit harder to see certain things that I would like to otherwise see on a computer screen. You see me squinting in to look, or just watching for maybe a distress signal if the dog's uncomfortable. It's a little bit harder to see that on camera, but it's still there. Dogs are the masters of body language communication, so making that switch over initially is a little bit harder. It's really taught me how to use Zoom. I can say that, and get really good at using the technology. Because of our technology here, what we've done is returning to classes, the whole family could be virtual, which was lovely. But now that we're back in person, we're just asking that one handler per dog attend, until we get back, kind of life starts returning to normal. And what I've said is for spouses and kids that would otherwise come with the family member, we're actually setting up Zoom and they're able to come in directly. So they're able to watch the whole class as if they're sitting off to the side. They can hear me directly from my microphone directly into the computer. I have a hearing assist system for anybody who is deaf or hard of hearing in the facility. So we've been able to adapt that to the computer and allow people to join in or watch the class if, for example, maybe they're a higher risk person, or if they're that second, third, fourth, 12th family member who's at home but still wants to learn. So it's been really fun that way.
That's awesome, though, to make sure that everyone can accessibly get all the information as quickly and efficiently as possible. Yvonne Ferguson, thank you so much for joining us. For more information on Quinte Canine and all the services, where do we go?
www.quintecanine.com, but you'll want to spell out the whole word canine, C-A-N-I-N-E.
All right, Yvonne Ferguson, once again from Quinte Canine. On behalf of everyone here at Coachago and all my guests, thank you so much for joining us this week. Take care.